Hey guys, welcome back to another Marketer's Mindset podcast. I am your host, as always, Daniel. And today we have Adam Walsh of Six Figure Accelerator and Engagency. And Adam, you're coming out from Ireland. How's it going?
Sure. It's going good. Super happy to be here, man. And yeah, hopefully we can share some tips, a little bit of knowledge and some mindset tactics as well, I guess, right?
Yeah, totally. That was actually a perfect add-on to the intro. Thanks for that. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm excited to talk with you. It's cool that we can like Zoom and we don't have to like fly or take a boat to each other. So this is pretty exciting. And I'm just excited to get kind of your perspective on things and just go from there. So first question I have for you, because I'm dying to know, what do you actually do and how do you generate revenue?
Sweet. So right now I have two companies, as you mentioned. The first company is Engagency. We are a social media / content creation agency. So we started back in 2019, purely offering a basic social media management service, right? Your typical pay us, 1 to 1.5K a month. We'll manage your socials. You do nothing, completely done for you.
Oh, just posting, stuff like that.
Just posting. Yeah. Simple content, writing captions, scheduling content, posting Instagram stories, all that good stuff. Wow. So that's what we started with. We did scale pretty fast. Okay. So we got our first client in November of 2019 for $1,200. 45 days later, we were doing over 10K a month in monthly recurring revenue. So we had a real fast trajectory of getting client number 1, 2, and all the way up to, I think it's probably about 8 or 9 clients to get to that point. From there, we got to our peak of $50,000 a month in 2021. We are now a lot lower than that, and that is for a bunch of reasons I can jump into, such as we wanted to improve our profit margins. We wanted to reduce the complexity of our service and scale it back to a more done with you offer, where now we do not do full social media management, but we give a little bit of help, and then we'll teach you and coach you how to do the rest yourself.
First of all,
lower market.
First of all, real quick, and then I really want you to continue. 45 days.
Yes,
that I don't even. We'll jump into that a little later, but that's just something to take note of. That's really freaking fast.
It was fast.
That was really fast. But now what you're doing is you're not necessarily manage people. You're sort of just like advising them on how to do this successfully.
Exactly. So we work with a lot of fitness coaches, supplement companies, and the main thing that we're doing now is we'll create some content for the business owner, right? Maybe some Instagram reels, some graphics, some quotes, because that's what we're really, really good at. But that business owner or their assistant is still going to manage the social media. So we give them an Instagram course. We have weekly coaching calls all about Instagram, how to grow in social media. So they have the support, the tools, the resources. It's just that they do it themselves now, and we just do a little bit of work. So it's obviously much more scalable. It's more profitable. We have less team members. It's just less stress, less headaches, less things that can go wrong. And, the success of that company birthed my second company, right? Which is the Six Figure Accelerator program. It's essentially a coaching program for new entrepreneurs that want to start a business, specifically as a freelancer or as a marketing agency owner, or for agency owners that, let's say, have, 1, 2, 3 clients. They don't have a predictable way of getting clients. They have, a little bit of proof that they've gotten 1 or 2 clients, but they really don't have the fundamentals in place to scale. And most importantly, to get to that 6-figure mark. So that entire program is just teaching people how to do that. We don't just sell a course. When we launched that program, we made it very, very clear that it was like, you get a course, you get 2 live coaching calls every week, one with me and one with my student success manager. It's like 4 hours of live coaching every single week. You get lifetime access to those, you get the recordings, and you also get put in a group chat with me and my student success manager in Telegram, where we respond to you every single day. So we really do over deliver on the coaching side. And for me, that is my main focus right now. So the agency is still there, but I don't do much. We have a salesperson, we've got client managers, we've obviously got virtual assistants, designers. The entire operation is handled. It's not growing. We're just keeping it at a steady rate. And for me, I'm just putting all my time into the coaching because more enjoyable. And as a business, it's just more exciting because I've done the agency for a long time. And I think with any business, as much as you love it when you start, because you have to love it to make it work, there is a point where you just get a little bit bored. And that was the exact scenario for me.
Oh my God. I can't believe you're saying this. This is so funny. This is exactly what I did. I did this market agency thing. I pursued that for, I mean, it's still sort of there. I just am not pursuing it. I have a few active clients and stuff, but it was great. Like I did the whole thing where I scale up. I've made more money than I ever have. I've successfully done something in whatever degree that is. And then I realized this is all the knowledge I gained. I actually want to reinvest that into consulting. So
I like it.
I found the same sort of enjoyableness of taking all that, becoming more of a coach to get them to do something similar. And I just have a little more fun with it. I think everyone else is more enlightened. There's less expectations of you, like, you know, you made a post and it's like, oh, how many leads did you get? Like it was a Facebook post. Like we're talking about likes here, you know? So I really enjoyed that as well. So did you start all this in 2012?
No, so the agency we started in 2019. So what's that? It's like just under 3 years ago, because we got our first client in like November, right? So point of recording this, that's like 2 and maybe 3/3 of a year. So that was that. The coaching, so the 6-figure accelerator, I believe that was just before 2021. So that has been going for like a year and a half, roughly, close to maybe 2 years, because I did some kind of like a beta coaching before I officially launched, see if I liked it and enjoyed the process. So yeah, it's still relatively new, but we've had great success. We've had hundreds of students, and I think there's still a lot of room for us to grow. And again, it's where my passion is for now. That might change, 2 years from now, who knows?
You might be like a makeup tutorialist.
Yeah, man. I've done a whole bunch of things. I'm sure you're the same, Daniel, where like before the agency, right? Like I didn't just, read one book about business and start an agency. Like I had a drop shipping store, 2 e-commerce stores. Oh, yeah. I had at one stage, I had 3 million followers on Twitter of like meme pages, right? Like I've done a whole bunch of weird things that, didn't even make much money, but they give you the experience, they give you the knowledge, and they give you the insight into then when there is a really damn good opportunity, like the agency space, you can just jump in head first. You know what you're going to do. And that's probably why we scaled so fast, was because I wasn't a beginner. Yes, I was a new agency owner, but like I'd done a bunch of things. So I kind of knew how to close deals, how to sell, and how to market. So
that was like my first product. I had a bunch before that even happened. It was called the Bump and Sleep. So it's like a silicone Broda, whatever it's called, a speed bump, and you put it under your stroller so it like bumps babies to sleep, right? That did not work out, but that's so funny though. You really do have to just kind of try a bunch of stuff and you kind of sink into what works for you, or 100%. You just get the right mentor like yourself and you kind of just show them how to do something one time and correctly, so you get to that point. So like, definitely. You kind of mentioned you have a kind of a niche. It's people who want to start a business or people who want to start like a marketing agency of some sort. So since you've scaled to like thousands of students that you've had, can you give us like a breakdown of how large your team is? Because I know you sort of mentioned a little bit of that and you sort of scaled back a bit, but to manage all this students in your agency, like how big is your team that you have?
That's a phenomenal question right there, man. So I'll break it down into the two sides because they are separate companies. They don't link, right? In the agency, right, we've had about 300 clients. On that team right now, we have like 4 client managers, so like 4 account managers. We have 2 VAs. We have probably 3 or 4 designers, and then about 2 video editors. So whatever that is, maybe around 10, maybe 11, 12. Fluctuates, obviously, some months we got to bring in an extra person. Some months we drop someone off, etc. So let's just say 10. In the coaching business, it's literally just me, my student success manager. He does probably like 20 hours a week. He also has an agency, so he balances the two. And then I have a video editor, a VA, and a designer. That's it. Super lean. And, you know, the two businesses for me, like they will do similar numbers in terms of revenue, but obviously the team for the coaching business is tiny compared to the agency. There's less expenses. It obviously is way more profitable. And I know a lot of people will get that twisted and they'll think, oh, like that's obviously the only reason why you would do it because it's more profitable. But the whole thing is that you have to do the thing to then coach about the thing. So even if I'm telling you it's like super high profit margins, tiny team, lots of revenue, lots of students, and obviously, you know, with that comes a decent amount of money, I can only do it because we did the hard stuff first. And it's, you know, it's the same with what you've done, Daniel, right? Like you couldn't have just, yes, you could have theoretically jumped into consulting right away, but would it have made sense? Would you have gotten results with the people you consulted with? Probably not. And you probably wouldn't have been able to charge them decent money because you had to do it, right? You had to do the agency, actually make it work and get some clients.
You don't realize if you don't have experience and you jump on a Zoom call, you're going to be like, I don't even know what to do in this conversation. You literally have no idea. That was actually a transition for me figuring out to consult. Because I was more of a fulfillment thing. I mean, you know how this works. Your fulfillment, I got it done. Let's do it. Okay, let's optimize. Great. Here's results. Now it's like the time frame is expanded. I have to listen, and now you have to learn the skill of organizing information and prioritizing it, and that's difficult to learn. So you still have to learn new skills in doing it. But if you don't have the experience, you don't even know where to go with the information. It doesn't even make sense to you. And
definitely.
You've serviced a ton of clients and a ton of students. How large do you think of an audience or reach you currently have?
Ooh, that's a good question. So in terms of total followers, we have, let's see, we've about 100K on TikTok. We have about 20K on Instagram. We've probably about 4K on YouTube. And then we have an email list for probably 5K. And that's just my personal brand. Okay. So that's just me with the coaching. So that's, let's just say a total of like 100K, 120K people. Because obviously, you know, a lot of people who follow me on TikTok also follow on Instagram. So I can't really add them as two separate people. They're the same. When it comes to the agency, we get all of our clients from outbound. Well, when I say all, I mean like 90%. Of course, there's a portion of referrals, but most of it is outbound. We do own some Instagram pages, which are in our niche, right? So in the fitness and health world. And we do leverage those as our outreach vehicles. So when we approach a business, we can actually message from, let's say, a fitness page with 100K followers. And it just helps us first get the message seen because they're going to open it because we're, you know, a big name with big followers, etc. And it really does help us when we're converting them from semi-interested to client because they see results. They see the proof. It's like we have pages with lots of followers, with great content, and that's what we're selling. Like that's the transformation we want for them. So yeah, all in all, man, audience size in the agency, we probably have about 700K between those accounts and then email lists and leads and all that good stuff. And then, yeah, personal brand, let's just say 100K.
Wow. I mean, that's a decent size. That's a decent size, and for the amount of clients comparatively that you've serviced already, which it's for sure. I've been getting this sort of same situation frequently, actually, where people are saying, I won't jump into this a little bit sooner, but I was briefly touching on it, is people are scaling back, not to decrease revenue, but to increase profit margin. And they're really focusing more on not how large the audience is, but how like valuable the audience is. So they're not necessarily going for big 100%. Followings to be like a TikTok influencer. They're trying to say like, out of the 1,000 followers we have, are they even relevant or clients that would message us with the content we're giving out? Things like that. Are we attracting the right people? So it's really interesting. So if you're doing all that front end organic stuff and you're doing outbound and you're still trying to get new clients, well, at least maybe for coaching, what does your pricing model look like? And do you have like a value ladder? Like, do you get people in at a lower amount, then upsell them to a larger amount? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah. So right now we have the 6-figure accelerator program is like the flagship program, like the flagship product. Yeah. It's actually a lot cheaper than most programs out there. From my understanding, it's about, right now it's about €600, which to dollars, let's say 650. Right now, you know, typically you'll find a course for like $997. So it's actually cheaper than a lot of courses, but you actually get like the full mentorship stack. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's one key reason why I do this, even though I know I'm like cheaper, right? I'm cheaper than a lot of people in the market. So the main reason for me is it helps with volume, right? Getting more people in, which then helps with getting results. Because if I can take 100 students, there's obviously more chances of 10, 20, or 30 of those getting really great results rather than just, let's say, 10, and then just hoping that 3 are really dedicated. It's, you know, on a percentage basis, there's more chance that we get more results. And from a very selfish standpoint, the more results we get, the more I get to post the results, which then helps us more students. So, and I always tell my students this because I want to be straight up with them. It's like, I'm actually really heavily incentivized to get you results. And that's why we typically will have a slightly lower price than what you might see out there, because we're focusing more on that. It's a huge marketing vehicle. Like nearly everybody who signs up with me signs up because they see results. Like that is the big driver for them to go, yes, Adam, I'm going to work with you.
See, that also, well, it also makes your, like you said, makes your pool larger. So the percentage of a 2% success rate, I know is low, but you know, even a 2%, but you got hundreds of students, that 2% is still, you know, 20, is still 30. So you still get to use that versus them spending $10,000 with you. Then you're like, I have to get that money back for them. That's like down the pipeline deals. That's not like in a matter of months to get back 600 euro, apparently. So like, what would you say like the biggest needle mover for your revenue is? Because I know you kind of touched on that. I want to know more about it. When you said one of the reasons that you get these people in so much easier is because you're lower and you get the results. So like, can you expand more on like what kind of moves your money needle the most?
Yeah, 100%, man. And I just realized I forgot to answer the second part of your question, which was the value ladder. So I'll just touch on that really quick.
Let's go there.
we actually only recently brought in a higher level program. Like, you know, for the first year, there was no higher level program. You literally paid once and that was it. Right now we do. It's like invite only. So you only get invited if you're doing a certain amount. So if you join the first program and you're making typically around 2K or 3K a month, we can then invite you to the next program, which again, it's only a fit for some people. Like there's a lot of people that are in the first program, right? Making 5K that will probably never join the higher level for various reasons. Maybe they don't want extra coaching. They don't want to scale. They're just happy to stay where they're at, right? So that program is more expensive. We'll probably obviously increase that many times as we go forward because it's people that are in our ecosystem. They trust us already. They've already gotten good results. So it makes the decision for them to pay, let's say 2K or 3K, very, very easy if they've already gotten those amazing results. So that's the value ladder right now. There may be some other things down the line like masterminds, but for now, we're just going to keep it pretty basic. So needle mover, right? For getting coaching students. TikTok is a huge, huge player. And this does link to why I do have a lower price on my program. Because if I had, let's say 100K people that came from YouTube, where they've consumed, you know, a 10-minute video from me every week or twice a week for an entire year, then I could charge way more money typically, right? Because I've had a longer runway of giving them so much value for free. So when I ask for, hey, pay me 5K for coaching, that actually might make sense. And they'd be like, cool, Adam, awesome. I've already watched you for 100 hours on YouTube.
I've had a guest that does YouTube like that, and she doesn't even do calls with them. They just go to a landing page and pay up $2,500.
They know her, they trust her. They've been on calls with her from the intimacy of her videos. It makes sense. Whereas because TikTok is such a driver for me, people are seeing a 30-second video, right? They're not seeing a 10-minute tutorial of how to set up your business. They're seeing, here's how I signed a bunch of clients. Here's a couple little tips. Like that's it, right? So because of that, it's more about volume and it's more about, you know, just catching someone with that short-term attention and converting that. So what I've found is that this works really well. Typically someone might follow me on TikTok, see my content, be like, interesting. You know, I want to learn a bit more, but I'm also like, I've seen other gurus and mentors, so I'm a little bit skeptical. They'll follow me on Instagram. We might have a conversation. They might just follow my daily stories. And anybody that follows me on social media, you'll know that I'm not actually really that good at creating content, even though I have a content agency and I have people to help me. Like my content is not the best. Daniel, some of it is really bad.
Are you just talking about like you just record it on your phone and just do like frame by frames, or like not frame by frame, but like you just cut it and then just post it with a sound like that?
Yeah, I mean, as in, a lot of times there's content I post that like there's been no thought that has gone into it. It's very spur of the
Oh,
moment. We just pull
yeah.
out the camera and we roll. But again, it just works because I'm consistent. I'm really, really fucking consistent. So like I post 3 times a day on TikTok. I've done that for over a year and a half. Instagram, we post daily stories, results, testimonials, sharing some tips about the agency life every single day. I've probably not missed a day in, over a year and a half as well. So I'm very consistent at what I do. And I feel like for me, that's one of the biggest drivers of the money. So when you said, what's the money mover? Yes, it's TikTok. Yes, of course it's content. Yes, it's the fact that we have kind of a lower price and really damn good results. But I think the biggest reason, in all honesty, is consistency. I'm obsessed with making it work, and I'll just show up every day.
See, I agree with that, because this actually goes really nicely into the next question, which you sort of already answered a bit. But when I'm building a new TikTok account out, like I am for DashClicks, we're posting 2 to 4 times a day, or at least I am. And, the first month goes by and nothing happens, but you still go, you still happen. And then all of a sudden you hit these like moments where things start progressing. Like maybe you get more likes and you're like, okay, that's happening. So on and so forth. You get to the point where people are like commenting. They're actually becoming like engaged potential leads. People are DMing you, and, you may have posted 4 or 5 times a day, just to make it sound a little more extreme, but it sort of naturally get to that point as long as you just stay consistent with it. But that's the hard part. So, if you want to spend your time doing it, it can be very beneficial. So that's one of your marketing strategies that you do. Do you do anything else with marketing strategies? Like, do you do any paid ads or anything like that?
No, I've literally not spent any money on paid advertising. I did have an Instagram shout out thing that I did for a while. So I paid some business page, to like shout me out and such.
Oh, sure.
Paid maybe like 1.5K, I believe. And, it got me some followers, but it didn't really result in much leads or much business. Okay. Learn my lesson. Cool. Maybe not for me. I have not done any paid ads. We are going to launch very soon though, Daniel. So I am excited to say that we will be doing some paid ads. Our method, I'll just tell you exactly here. It's going to be, we have a low ticket product. It's called a 3-day challenge. So you pay like €7. You come in, you learn the basics of starting an agency. You get maybe like 4 to 5 hours of content. You get a couple of worksheets to go through. It gives you a good understanding, right? A good base, a good bit of knowledge. Yeah. The ascension rate so far from someone who joins that and then joins the mentorship is about 20%. So it's really good. Tested it with like close to 200 people. So ascension rate is spot on. It's awesome. Our lifetime value is obviously quite good then with each person that joins the front end. So I have that. I've proven it with organic. So the goal is really just to run ads to the 3-day challenge, break even, or even spend 15, 20, maybe even 30 cost per purchase of the €7 challenge. And then obviously we ascend maybe. It's probably going to be lower if it's cold traffic, right? It's probably not going to be 20%, but it might be 15, maybe even 10%. So I think we can definitely make that work. My ad account is banned because I used to use it for freelancing when I did some Facebook ads, and I'm in that whole process, man. I'm trying to get that thing back. So once we get it back, we will be on the ad game as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. I was doing when I first started, it was like affiliate marketing stuff with ClickFunnels, and I got banned right away. So I'm like forever outlaws. We need to make like a Facebook group of just like the rejected outlawed advertisers from Facebook. And create our Facebook community. Facebook rejects, something like that. Oh my God. So like, what would be, so if you, because you have such a lean team, and I'm starting to find this as a trend, like you don't necessarily have to, because we have so many resources, you don't have to have, I may scale to a certain point. Sure. I understand, but you can really run a successful business with having a lean team. You really don't need to have like an overextended group of people doing all these different stuff. You can really get far with 5 people or 10 people. So a lot of that has to do with automation. So like, what is like the number one automation you have in your business that you just can't work without?
Nice. I like that question. I'm a big fan of Zapier and automations
Mm.
in general. So I absolutely love building systems. I think I have that kind of brain where like you give me, right, a problem in the business. This is taking too much time, or there's too much lag between this and this. I'll be like, cool, awesome. Let me sit with that for an hour and build a system. Love that stuff.
Mm.
If I was to say the biggest one, man, I think the biggest one is on the agency, so not the coaching business, because that, there's not a huge amount automated there.
More
Obviously,
simple.
things like if someone opts in for a free training, that's obviously all automated and still get some follow-up emails, etc. Nothing crazy though. With the agency, with our outreach system, we do have a lot of that automated. Okay, so I'll give you the real quick rundown. Let's say we have a fitness page, 100K followers. We give a virtual assistant a SOP of how to find prospects on Instagram, first off. Then we give them a script, and it's a script that we've used literally for like 2 years now. So it
It's just
works.
perfectly
and
refined.
It's just perfect.
Yeah,
And it's really simple. If I was to show you the script, it's really tiny. So you'd be like, what the hell? How does that work?
And normally they're like obnoxiously long.
Yeah, normally they're like 10 pages. Ours is
Yeah.
like 1 page, 4 or 5 messages total, max.
Amazing.
Right. And so when we do outreach, we don't pitch people a free call. We don't pitch people our services. We pitch them a free case study. So we'll give you something for free. It's a PDF. It's very easy for someone to say yes to the free PDF versus a 30-minute call versus, hey, here's my pricing. Okay. So we collect a lot of leads very easily. We have a great conversion rate from message to capturing the lead. And we then put, when someone says, yes, send me the case study. So let's say I message you, Daniel, you say, yeah, cool, Adam, send me the case study. This is where the automation kicks in. So we just put your name and your email on a spreadsheet, and the VA can just pop it on there. She doesn't need to know anything about ActiveCampaign and our email follow-ups and any of that. Just put it on a spreadsheet. That links automatically to ActiveCampaign, sends them the case study in a new email straight away, sends them a bunch of follow-ups, adds them into nurture campaigns, books them into a free call eventually, but they booked the call because they've already gotten free value from us. And now they get an extra free thing, which is a free call. And that right there is like our entire strategy for getting clients. Super simple, but it's very focused on providing value for free on the front end with a free case study, and then a free call. And then we might pitch you what we actually do. But again, that process, a good 50% is automated, which means our virtual assistants don't need to even be any way tech savvy. They literally need to know how to open a Word document to get the script, how to log into our Instagram page, and just like how to send the messages, and then to paste the leads on a spreadsheet. Super simple.
That is so good.
Yeah, and the reason it's good, Daniel, is just because if we need to hire another virtual assistant, we can literally hire anyone who is organized and a good communicator. Really.
Essentially knows how, right, and knows just how to use a spreadsheet. See that? Okay, keep going.
No, that's pretty much it, man.
That was kind of my that. What's sort of, it's sort of funny actually. You basically simplified things, and this is another thing I keep hearing. Like everyone that does these big things in business, they're running simplified systems, just like what you're doing. So you're taking a software that essentially is designed to be user friendly, like ActiveCampaign or whatever, MailChimp, whatever. And you're like going, nope, too complicated to even teach someone. Simplified even more, spreadsheet, bam, everyone knows how to use that. I've never thought of it that way. So I'm like, my mind's going crazy a little bit. But I'm kind of mind blown a bit. That's going to be a little snippet, I think.
Yeah, man. We have I have a full I think I have a full training just on this concept alone, because it's like it gets a little, it's a little hard to wrap your head around because it's so simple. But like we break it down with the numbers, like, we track the outreach we do every week, and it's all tracked there of like how many people we messaged, how many leads we got, how many leads converted to calls, how many calls converted to clients. Like it's all tracked literally for the last like 2.5 years. And we've run that system for like probably 2 of the 2.5 years. And it just came from a place of, at the start, I was doing outreach myself, and I did like, lots of voice messaging, and it was all very personal. Obviously that works. It's so amazingly effective, but it's just not scalable. And I was like, I don't want to do 2 hours a day sending voice notes. This is, this is boring. It's just, I'm going to lose the love for this. And so that's when I was like, yeah, cool, let's build a system. And obviously I didn't come up with that system right away. There was multiple tweaks and things we changed, but yeah, we just kept it simple. And the main thing was, can anyone do it? And anybody can do it. A VA, or you give me someone who can use an iPhone, they can pretty much do it.
Unbelievable. I might use this. This is really good.
Yeah,
So
man.
are you using the CRM though, or are you just primarily using your email system as your CRM?
We actually, we use the CRM feature in ActiveCampaign. So it's like called deals in ActiveCampaign. We have quite a big CRM now. We've got about 15,000 leads in there that have not closed. So obviously there's been a bunch that.
But it's not like you have it's not like you have another software that's just the deals part of ActiveCampaign.
Yeah, just the deals part of ActiveCampaign, man. We have it broken into like steps. So like, there's the leads that just saw the case study and never booked a call. Then there's people that booked a call. Then there's people that attended the call. Then there's the people that didn't show up to the call.
Yes.
Then there's the people that are going to pay a deposit. And then of course we have the people that actually close and become clients.
Yeah. Brilliant. I love the simplicity of it. And I keep saying this, like, I keep getting this sort of similarity between people I interview, different businesses, models, industries, all this stuff. But they're epiphanic. Is that the word? I don't know. Epiphanic, I think, moment they have where they go from, they kind of hit the glass ceiling of their revenue and then they kind of blow up into the next phase, is when they've said we've like simplified things and we've cut back, we've worked on like increasing our profit margins and we simplified the process here and we leaned our team out. And that's when I keep hearing like these people are able to just really move forward. Because to me, it seems like probably the base of it is just the fact that there's less to think about. So your focus is less dispersed. Therefore, the focus you put into one thing is like concentrated.
Exactly. 100%, man. 100%. For us to scale like that to get more leads, it's not complex. It's not, we've got to do 100 things. It's just literally, okay, we need maybe another Instagram account. We need another virtual assistant. There we go. That will bring in more clients. That's
just stupid
we
easy.
Want another one? Yeah, we just add in another, and you just keep repeating the process. Now, would we do that infinitely? No, because again, there's kind of a point where for us, there's a sweet spot where when we go past that, things break, fulfillment team gets overwhelmed. So we're not going to do that. But if we wanted to, the option is there for sure. And in the coaching I provide, it's why, like, I can take someone who is a complete beginner. I've had so many people I've worked with where they're genuinely like, okay, Adam, I didn't even know what an agency was. Now I'm on your page, I'm looking at your content, and a month later, they might join my program and they're starting still as a very, very much beginner. So they haven't tried other businesses before. They, again, don't really even know what marketing is. They just think it's ads on the internet and that's about it. And that person
seems
can
so
actually
simple,
build,
but vague. Yeah. So simple, but vague. Keep going.
But like that person can build an agency. Like I've got quite a few guys where they offer a service that they've no idea how to deliver themselves. So Facebook ads, for example, they've never run an ad in their life. They just have a contractor that's really damn good. They get really good at this outreach and selling, which is kind of my side, like my specialty. I'll teach them that. I'll help you get the contractor. We're in a good position. Like you can run that at a low level, 2, 3, 4, 5K a month, replace your job income. You'll do it with maybe 70% profit margins. That's good. You're not going to have to work 10 hours a day. If you follow the systems we have, you can work 1 to 2 hours. You can make a decent income. Are you going to be a millionaire from it? No, probably not. Right. But if you just want to make, an extra supplementary income on the side, it's
totally doable.
Yeah. 100%.
That's awesome. That's awesome. There's so many things people can do. It's just, if they know how to do it the right way, they can really be successful at most of the things. I think, if they're guided correctly, they could be successful at a lot more things than I think they have, or the potential that they think they have. So this is pretty cool. So with all these simplified, I have a few more questions for you. So all these simplified systems you have, because it seems like you just have it on lock, especially when you like teach people how to do this, they just kind of majority seem to perform, especially the ones that just have the good work ethic and show up every day. So like, how much revenue, Adam, has your company generated in the past 12 months?
12 months. Between boat companies, probably revenue like 700K, I would say, between the two.
And if there was like one thing, and you maybe could touch one point for each business, but well, maybe not the agency, because I know you're not really scaling the agency, but maybe for coaching, if there was one thing that you had to change for, to hit a new revenue goal in the next 12 months, like what would that one thing be?
I think the one biggest thing for coaching is to upsell more people, because we haven't upsold a lot of people into our higher level program, and we have a lot of successful customers in the first program. So for us, it's just a case of we have to make the invitations to people, because we do want to keep it close knit. But that, I think, would be a really big one, which we are actively going to do more of that. If I was to pick another thing, it would be probably just diving into the paid ads world a little bit sooner, because I'm doing it now, and obviously it really makes sense now, but I probably would have been a little bit further along, right, if I had done this 6 months ago and tested all the audiences and the creatives and all the things that come with that.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, for the agency, there's nothing, because we're not trying to scale it. But for most people with an agency, it's just dialing in on your outreach, like getting that sorted, because your service delivery is so important. You have to have a good service. Your clients have to be happy, and you have to retain them. But most agency owners I speak to, they can do that like all the time, and they can close deals, right? They're good at sales. They're good at sales. They're good at service delivery. They just don't know how to get meetings and how to book appointments. So, step number one for that person is, okay, make a very simple system, test it yourself, right? Make sure it is scalable and it's not going to require a lot of your time.
Yeah.
And then once it works on a basic level, volume, add VAs, add the automations, add the systems, add Instagram accounts, LinkedIn accounts, whatever you need.
Supercharge it.
Just push the volume and supercharge it, push the volume. Yeah.
Brilliant. So I have one last question for you. And I mentioned this at the beginning of the podcast. Like, we have a lot of different, pretty much our audience is like people who want to start a business geared around marketing agencies. Like, they want to start something in marketing. They want to start their own, team. They want to have this, because that's what DashClicks offers. We have like white label fulfillment and software together. So all you need is just an account, and you pretty much have all the systems you need that pretty much you're using. So there's new people that are just considering, they use this as a side hustle. They do this full time. We have like hyper successful people. We have in betweens. So like, knowing that a lot of people listening are probably more on the beginning spectrum, what's the number, and maybe you answered already, but what's like the number one thing you would recommend, word of advice from you to those people that would save them the most time if they're just starting this journey off?
Okay. I would say the biggest piece of advice for me to give you, which again is very similar to the advice I give people I work with, because most people I work with are beginners just starting into this space, is do not waste time, right? And when I say do not waste time, I mean, don't focus on the things that you think you should do. All right. So every single day when you sit down to work and be productive, look at the task that you're going to do. Is this going to make you money? Is this going to get you clients? Is this going to get you booked calls? If not, when you're starting, you don't need it, because if they're going to work with you guys, DashClicks, and they've got all the fulfillment set up, you don't need to know all that stuff. Like, of course, you need to know a little bit to sell it effectively, right? But you just need to get booked meetings. You need to get people on the phone with you on a Zoom call, and you need to sell your services. So when someone works with me, Daniel, like typically I'll tell them, look, if you're telling me you're going to do this for 10 hours a day, don't. Because I know you're going to spend 8 hours of that day wasted,
wondering what to do.
Yeah, building out PDFs with your packages, all these things that are nice and they're great to have long term, but they really are a waste at the start. And I know this because I did it myself. I spent like probably a year doing all these things, and I still have the folder on my computer with like documents, sales scripts, PDFs, contracts, like everything you could physically or possibly imagine that you're going to need for an agency. And I never once used them, because I didn't actually do outreach. I didn't actually speak to business owners. I didn't get calls. So that's my biggest piece of advice, is just do not waste your time. Just make sure what you're doing is actually going to get you the things that matter, which if it's an agency, it's connections. It's people into your network. It's booked calls. And that is going to give you the opportunity to give value to them, ask some deep-rooted questions to see if you can help them, and then to sell them effectively.
Primarily focus on your revenue producing goals. And if you're in the agency space, that is sales. You need to build your network. You need to talk to people. You need to learn how to sell whatever product you're selling, and start there and not start in the back end, especially because you can outsource that stuff so easily.
So easy.
But
So easy.
That is great advice. That's also really hard.
Really hard.
Because you
I 100%.
it is difficult, but because you have to like peel the Band-Aid off of, well, if I don't send this email, who else is going to send the email? Or maybe I should focus on this. And so you have this conversation with yourself in your head with like 10 other people trying to like figure out exactly what you have to be doing. But Adam, thank you so much for joining. You gave me you gave all our listeners some pretty incredible insights. Actually, my favorite one was the simplicity of everything and the Excel sheet. I took note of that. That's like ridiculously easy.
I can send you more examples if you need as well.
Yeah, totally. Where can people find you?
So best place to find me is Instagram. I post behind the scenes tips, advice, stories every single day of the week. And I mean that every single day of the week, the entire year, you're going to see stories from me. Okay. So if you have any questions at all, you can hit me up on there. Happy to give you some tips, some advice. If you want longer form content, I do have a YouTube channel. If you want short form content, I got TikTok, but Instagram is really where I give the most valuable information. It's literally just my name, but just take out the A in Walsh. So ADAMWLSH. And if you just type in my name to TikTok or YouTube, I should come up there as well.
Awesome. Again, Adam Walsh of Six Figure Accelerator and Engagency, all the way out from Ireland. Adam, thank you again.
Absolute pleasure, man. Really enjoyed that. And we'll be speaking soon.
Talk to you soon. See ya.